This machine is a Hinowa self-propelled track platform. It is a Goldlift 17.80 XL series. Operating the machine from the emergency control position on the ground if the operator has been taken ill. Please note, this emergency descent function can only be used if the operator in the basket is ill. To perform the emergency descent, proceed as followed. Move the control distributor selection switch from the distributor in the basket to the distributor on the ground. If necessary, start the engine, use the corresponding button. Move the aerial part of the machine using the manual levers positioned on the distributor on the ground as described on the sticker placed near them and as specified in the operator's manual, until the basket carrying the operator reaches the ground. Danger. From this position, the automatic device for preventing collision between the first arm and the engine cannot be activated, so be sure to avoid any contact between the two parts. For various reasons, one of the stabilizers may lose contact with the ground, thus changing the angle of the machine or causing a foot plate to lift from the ground. If this occurs when the machine is elevated at height, movements are stopped and disabled immediately. To restore operation of the working platform, we need to close the aerial part of the machine and then restabilize the machine. The electrical emergency descent function can be used. This involves only the return to the ground of the upper part of the platform and boom sections. If this is not possible due to the presence of objects that interfere with the operations, the rescue personnel on the ground can bypass the machine's safety devices and allow the operator in the basket to close the machine or allow the manual operations as described in order to bring the operator back to the ground. Proceed as follows. Open the electrical components compartment. Position the emergency key on the electrical components compartment, removing it from the side where this is sealed. Turn the emergency key anti-clockwise and hold it in position. The display on the radio control will show the safety device bypass icon in position 7. Control the machine only carrying out operations that allow the machine to be lowered or closed. For example, first arm folding, second arm folding, retracting the extension arm, folding in the jib. The third arm can be rotated and lowered only with the extension arm completely retracted. Once the machine is closed, release the key, remove it and put it back into its original position. Please note, the electronic control board records every time the safety device bypass key is used. Emergency lowering from the ground in the event of sudden operator illness, with the motor running and electrical system fault. This emergency descent function is only used if the operator is not capable of lowering the machine while the motor is running and the electrical system has broken down. During this procedure, it is prohibited to perform any operations other than those which have been described. For example, to extend the telescopic arm or jib arm, to move stabilizers, and generally to perform any operation that may cause machine to lose stability. Any movement of the arms must be performed at the minimum speed possible. Remove the cap from the solenoid valve and close it manually by pressing and turning the underlying control. Enable the aerial part by screwing completely the special flywheel which is located under the distributor protection casing on the carriage. Act on the switch, thus enabling the emergency distributor from the ground. Use the distributor levers to enable the desired movement. The sequence of movements is as following. Retract extension arm. Fold in the jib arm. Fold the first and second arm. Fold the third arm. Once the emergency operation has been completed, return the control to its original position. Unscrew completely the flywheel that enables the aerial part. Please note, if this device has been used to emergency lower the machine, before using the machine again to work at height, it is mandatory to set it back into the transport configuration, raise the stabilizers and lower them again. Only then will it then be possible to work at height controlling the machine from the platform. Emergency lowering control from the ground using the hand pump. This is in the event of faults on all energy supply systems. This emergency descent function is only used if all electrical and motors have broken down. To emergency lower the machine, it will require 2 people to carry out this function. This is because the emergency lowering handle and ground controls are situated on opposite sides of the machine, making it impossible to carry out this manoeuvre individually. The emergency descent from the ground can only be carried out using the hydraulic hand pump. This will move the basket by pumping oil manually and simultaneously using the ground controls to lower the machine. To perform the emergency descent in the conditions described, proceed as followed. Move the deviator located on the hand pump to the position corresponding to the movement of the aerial part of the machine. Act on the switch, thus enabling the emergency distributor from the ground. Act on the distributor levers to enable the desired movement following the instructions to be found on the label, and at the same time use the hand pump to power the movements. This required the need for a second rescue person. The sequence of movements is as followed: retract extension arm, fold jib arm, fold first and second arm, fold third arm. Emergency operations on the carriage. Moving the platform stabilisers using the hand pump to allow the machine to be transported. Please note, this procedure can only be carried out if the aerial part of the machine has been completely closed. There may be situations where the machine may need to be moved, but the stabilisers are still sat in the set position. To raise the stabilisers from the ground in order to allow for the machine to be moved, remove the cap from the solenoid valve and close it manually by pressing and turning the underlying control. Enable the aerial part by screwing completely the special flywheel which is located under the distributor protection casing on the carriage. Check that the machine is completely closed and aligned. Remove the protection plugs and use the appropriate devices to completely tighten the two proportional valves fitted onto the two distributors. To move the left stabilisers, move the deviator on the hydraulic pump to the corresponding position. Use the on-off coil levers to enable the required movement and simultaneously operate the hand pump to deliver oil to allow the movement. Carry out the same procedure for the right stabilisers. When lifting the stabilisers, always ensure that you carry out this with the machine horizontal as possible. Once this procedure has been carried out, completely unscrew the proportional valves on the carriage distributor on both the right and left side and put back the plugs over the top of them. Basket emergency descent controlled from the platform. The platform emergency descent procedure can be controlled from the platform itself only if the electrical system on the machine is working. To emergency descend from the platform, hold button 4 on the radio control. Check the control through icon 8 on the display. Use the lever corresponding to the arm being folded until reaching the required height. Then release button 4. The lowering or descent is due to gravity. The platform and basket cannot be rotated, and the telescopic arm cannot be extended or retracted. Therefore, the platform or basket is lowered vertically at the distance from the centre of rotation. This depends on the configuration of the machine at the time when the emergency situation occurs. If a lever corresponding to a movement without emergency descent is activated, an error icon will be shown on the display. The message will disappear when the lever is released.